What happens when you remove yourself from the decision? A few months ago, I asked myself a question that completely changed the way I think about trading. What would happen if I removed myself from the decision-making process completely? No emotions, no hesitation, no second guessing. Just a system making decisions based purely on logic, data, and predefined rules. Because if you think about it, most trading mistakes don't come from lack of opportunity. They come from human behavior. Fear, greed, impatience, overconfidence. These emotions quietly destroy even the best strategies. So I decided to test something extreme. I built an AI trading system, and I let it make the decisions. No manual interference, no emotional overrides, just automated logic running in real time. And what happened next was not what I expected.
Why I decided to build an AI system? The idea didn't come from hype. It came from frustration. Every time I looked at my past trades, I noticed a pattern. It wasn't the strategy that failed. It was my execution. I would enter late, exit early, or hold too long. Sometimes I ignored my own rules. Other times, I overreacted to market movements. And slowly, I realized something important. The problem wasn't knowledge. It was discipline. And discipline is exactly what humans struggle with. That's where the idea of automation started making sense. If I could define a clear strategy and let a system execute it without emotion, maybe I could remove the biggest weakness in trading: myself.
Building the system wasn't about creating something overly complex. It was about clarity. First, I needed rules. What conditions would trigger a trade? What signals would confirm an entry? How would risk be managed? When would the system exit? These decisions had to be precise, because once the system was live, there would be no room for hesitation. The strategy was based on a combination of trend analysis, risk management, and simple probability-based logic. Nothing unrealistic, nothing based on prediction. Just structured rules designed to operate consistently. Then came the automation. I connected the system to market data, allowing it to analyze price movements in real time. Every decision it made was based on predefined conditions. If the conditions were met, the system executed. If not, it waited. No guessing, no emotions. And once everything was ready, I turned it on.
The first few days felt strange. Watching trades happen without any input felt almost uncomfortable. Normally, trading involves constant decision-making. You watch the charts, analyze patterns, and make choices. But now, I was just observing. And that created a psychological shift. There was no stress about whether to enter or exit, no pressure to react quickly. The system handled everything. At first, this felt like a huge advantage. But at the same time, it felt like I had lost control. And that balance between control and automation became one of the most interesting parts of the experiment. As days turned into weeks, I started noticing something important. The system was consistent. It didn't chase trades. It didn't overreact. It followed the rules exactly as designed. And because of that, it avoided many of the common mistakes I used to make. There were no impulsive entries, no emotional exits, no overtrading. Some trades were small wins. Some were moderate gains. Nothing extreme. But the consistency stood out. It felt structured. And in trading, structure is powerful.
The unexpected outcomes. But this is where things got interesting, because not everything went as planned. There were moments where the system followed the rules perfectly and still lost. And that forced me to confront an uncomfortable truth. A perfect system does not guarantee perfect results. Markets are unpredictable. Even the best strategies will have losing trades. And when those losses happen automatically, without emotional control, they feel different. There were times when I wanted to step in.
to override the system, to stop it from taking a loss. But I didn't. And that was one of the hardest parts of the experiment, because it showed me something deeper. The system wasn't just testing the market, it was testing me.
The biggest realization? Automation doesn't remove risk. One of the biggest misconceptions about AI trading is that automation reduces risk. It doesn't. It changes how risk is handled. The system followed rules perfectly, but those rules were still based on probabilities, and probabilities include losses. Automation removes emotional mistakes, but it does not eliminate uncertainty. And understanding that difference is critical, because many beginners believe that automation equals safety, but in reality, it requires even more discipline. The psychological shift. Over time, I noticed something unexpected. My mindset started changing. I became less reactive, less emotional, more focused on process instead of outcomes. Because when you watch a system operate consistently, you start understanding something important. Individual trades don't matter. The system matters. And that shift in thinking is what separates beginners from experienced traders.
What I would do differently? If I were to rebuild this system, I wouldn't make it more complex. I would make it more adaptable. Because one limitation became clear. The system followed rules, but it didn't understand changing market conditions the way a human can. Adding flexibility, improving risk management, and refining conditions would be the next step. Because no system is perfect, but every system can improve. So the real question is, should you do this? The answer depends on your mindset. If you're looking for a shortcut, this is not it. If you're looking for a system that requires discipline, patience, and understanding, then yes, it can be powerful, but only if you respect the process. Because automation doesn't make trading easy, it makes it structured.
AI is not here to replace traders, it's here to assist them. The real advantage comes from combining human understanding with automated execution. Because humans understand context, and systems execute without emotion. Together, they create balance. Building this system taught me something I didn't expect. The biggest challenge in trading is not the market, it's the person making the decisions. Automation didn't make me rich overnight, but it made me better, more disciplined, more aware, more focused on process instead of emotion. And in the long run, that matters more than anything. If you found this real experiment valuable, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I don't just talk about strategies. I test them, break them, and show you what actually happens in real life. And tell me in the comments, would you trust an AI system to trade for you? Or do you think human control is still necessary? Because in the end, the future of trading is not just about technology, it's about how you use it.